Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm picking up where I left off in the last video where I was doing some CV tools with the Matriarch and the Labyrinth. And we're going to talk about kind of song arrangement and also multi-tracking live audio into the arrangement window, because it's not immediately obvious how you do that, but it is very powerful if you do know how to set this up, because you can trigger clips, record them into the arrangement, and then also record the live audio, like maybe even record guitar as well, which is really cool. So if you're curious how to do that, this is the video for you. So this is where I left off on the track last time. Got this kind of groove going on. Now I did arrange it into a few types of scenes here. So we got like this, just regular groove, and then bass comes in, and then bass and the hi-hats, and then the Matriarch in scene 5. So in order to put this stuff into an actual arrangement, there is a few things that need to be done. So first off, if you look at the bars I have right here, it's already at 800 bars. If this was a brand new project, it would be at 2. And the other thing also is loop would be on. So it would be looping basically the 2 bars. So the loop, you want to make sure that's off, because otherwise it's going to keep on looping at the 2 bars, which is not what you're going to want for the actual recording of an arrangement. The other thing is you want a bunch of bars to work with. Something that's definitely more than you're actually going to record. So just throw 800 in there. So the Labyrinth is going into input number 2 of the Volt 476. And the Matriarch is going into inputs 3 and 4 of the Volt 476. So I have 2 audio tracks. Again, if you want to know how I have this project set up, yeah, you need to watch the previous video. But I have 2 audio tracks set up here. So Lab Audio, and it's on monitor is on auto. So if it has an audio track in the clip, it'll play that. But if it doesn't, then it'll listen to the live audio. That's how the auto works on there. And then Matte Audio is the Matriarch audio that you can see coming in, which I have a Delay Pro and Reverb Pro on there. In the Lab Audio, I have an Amp Sim and a Reverb Pro. So it's a little basic processing right there. Just for fun, let's have the guitar as well. So I'm going to put the guitar into input 1. Like so. And then let's set up a new track real quick. So audio, we'll call this guitar because basic, right? And monitor is going to be on auto. And the input is going to be input 1. So if I play this, I'm getting signal, but you're not hearing it because I don't have it armed. So if I arm it, now you're hearing guitar signal come through. We should throw some stuff on there. Let's do an amp sim on this as well. And let's go Air Delay Pro. Okay, back to the matrix and the arrangement and how we actually record all this stuff. There is another very key piece of information that you need to do in order to record multiple audio tracks. So one way of getting to this information is holding record, and then a dialog pops up. So the start recording to clip arrangement settings, retro record. What we want to do is go into settings, and then under settings, there is a record arm feature right here. So you can go from single to multi, okay? Now, if I put this back to single, if I go like this, you notice on these top buttons, I have it set up to track arm. So it's showing whatever tracks are armed on the step sequencer top buttons right here. And you'll notice that if I select something, it only arms that particular track, like that. One way around this is you can hold shift and then start arming tracks this way. So now everything is listenable. Another way of doing it though is having multi on right here. So if you have multi, and then you go to the main, you'll see the sequence record says multi on here. So it means you can go through on your tracks and just arm multiple of them and not worry about like only one being armed and then having to switch back and forth. This is a very important step for this because it does not work if you don't arm multiple tracks. If you're on an older MPC and you're wondering how you actually get access to some of that stuff, I believe what you want to do is go into the menu and then go into track view. And then with track view, you can actually go through and see everything. And if you hold shift, you can arm stuff like this. Also, if you have multi already on with the settings right here, the multi-arm record, then you can actually just go through and start arming everything like this. So yeah, little pro tip for older MPCs, go into track view to get access to that. But yeah, at this point, I believe we're pretty much ready to actually do an arrangement recording. So what we can do is go into the matrix right here. What you do is you hold record, and then once again, the dialog pops up and you click to arrangement, and that'll trigger this mode properly. So with our 3 audio tracks armed, let's do some testing here. I'm gonna initially start out with this, which is the basic drum. Yeah, I got this going on. Then I'm gonna go into bass. And because it's live audio, I can twist knobs and record everything that's happening here. I'm gonna bring in the matriarch. At this point, maybe bring in some guitar. Okay, let's have a look at what we have. If we go to arrange, collapse this down, you can see that we've recorded audio tracks and MIDI, and we can go anywhere in here and start playing. So it's ready to, mix, do some adjustments, or it can even switch up the setup and use the USB-C outputs of the Live 3 specifically, go into the computer and multi-track everything out for a separate mixing environment. Or maybe you want to do some vocal production in a different DAW because of comping and all that. You can do it that way to get the stems out. Now on playback, if you decide you screwed up some stuff or need to redo it, you could always go into edit and clear all the events. Or you could hit undo a few times. It does have to undo per audio track. So keep that in mind. You have to hit undo a few times to get it back to square one, essentially. But honestly, I think this is a pretty incredible way of working on the MPC. I'm still relatively new to it, and I'm still discovering things about the arrangement window and how I can incorporate it into my productions. Over time, I'm probably going to release more videos talking about little intricacies that I've found. But this was one thing that I wasn't quite sure how to do immediately, and had to do little adjustments and figuring stuff out. But now that I can record multiple audio tracks relatively easy like this, I think this is pretty incredible, especially if you have an audio interface that gives you more than 4 inputs. So like a Tascam 12-channel mixer that sends all the inputs directly into the MPC. That would be pretty awesome. This also allows you to have multiple people recording at the same time. Let's say you have a bassist and a guitarist, and you want to track to your drums and synthesizers at the same time. You can set that up in here now, which I think is pretty cool. So just to recap, some things that you have to keep in mind. First one is make sure your sequence bars is plenty length. The second one is turn off the loop, because the looping is just going to keep on looping over the same part and keep on recording the same MIDI notes and all that stuff into there. And it's also not going to work for audio because there's no overdub audio feature in the arrange mode right now. The only place you can truly overdub audio right now is the looper right here, at least as far as I'm aware at this point. I've actually requested the ability to overdub audio on an audio track. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but we'll see. So again, make sure your measures are plenty of length, make sure the loop is off, and then make sure you have multi-record on. You hold the record button, you go to settings, and then record arm. By default, it comes set to single, and you want to switch that to multi so you can multi-arm easily and not have it accidentally click off. And then you're able to arm multiple audio tracks conveniently, and they will record directly to the arrangement. Oh, and lastly, when you're in the matrix, you want to hold record again, and then start recording to arrangement. And then everything that you play via the row launching will record into the arrangement. Quick note though, if you're in this type of arrangement, whatever audio track you're recording directly into the arranger should be an audio track without any clips, okay? If you have clips in the audio track right here, it's going to override the actual input from the signal. So I think this is kind of straightforward and obvious, but it might catch some people off guard. So make sure you don't have any audio clips that you're actually triggering in the tracks that you're recording audio directly to. So in this lab audio, this particular clip right here would technically cut off the recording that was going into the arrangement. It's a little bit of a gotcha right there. You'd probably just discover and realize what's happening afterwards, but I'm letting you know right now so you don't fall into that trap. That's the video. Thank you very much for watching. If you're planning on picking up any gear, whether it's speakers, a Matriarch, a Live 3, whatever, if you use my affiliate links below through Zounds, then it directly supports the channel. So thank you very much if you do that, and stay tuned for more MPC content. I'll see you next time. Peace.